I want to give a shout out to Dip Metaverse. Okay, a lot of you guys know who he is. He does these, X Spaces with Brian. He loves Elon Musk's name, for crying out loud. He thinks it's hilarious, right? But Dip has been in the space when it comes to Jasmine for a very long time. He's gone over to Japan. He's visited, you know, the office. He's met Hara, the whole 9 yards. Very, very impressive. Dip pointed out some news to me, so of course, got to give him a shout out, right? So obviously, you guys know for a while now, I've been talking about these ISO standards. Jasmy can apply to have an ISO standard. And I pointed out a few particular ones. I've also pointed out in the past how, Kunitake Ando is, has a particular company other than Bjit that became an ISO standard. Well, guess what? Recent news, if you haven't seen it already, Bjit, ISO standard, right? Got their certification on May 1st. At least that's what the news said. Let's pull this up, smash the like, check it out for yourself, because you want to know something? I was talking about this stuff before it even happened, and I understand it's not Jasmy yet, but what's next? Right, what is next? Let's go ahead and share this on the screen for you guys. This comes straight from Bjit. So we're going to full screen this. As you can see, if you go to bjitgroup.com, it's on their news page. And I'm going to drop it into the comments. Give me a second. You're on the live show. Benefits of watching the live show. You get it right in the live comments to review with fellow nerds. Okay? So, yes. What do we have? Well, according to Dip Metaverse, he felt as though it's a big deal. Why would he, let me know about it? Well, different ISO standard, but very similar, because you want to know something? We did talk about ISO and we talked about /IEC. This one, Bjit, earns ISO 27001:2022 certification for information security management system. They're thrilled to announce this significant milestone in its journey toward excellence in information security. The company achieved ISO 27001:2022 certification for its information security. And of course, we got to read more about it. How long ago? Literally 8 days ago. So, yeah, we've been talking about this before it even happened. Now, this is good news in my opinion, okay? Because this tells me something. What exactly does it not only tell me, but what does it actually tell you guys too? Well, what should tell you guys, basically, I guess I zoomed in too much right there, sorry about that, is that everything that we have been taking the time to learn about kind of seems like it's becoming confirmed. Some people have criticized me and said, why you cover this stuff? Like, oh, that's cool, but nothing's ever going to come about it. It's going to fall on deaf ears. The first tweet I put out, or what do you call it nowadays on X, was talking about these things and how basically, how do we get Jasmy to apply for it in ISO standard? Now, this is Bjit, but if you're new to all this, understand that when it comes to Bjit, what is most important is understanding that you have Kunitake Ando, you have obviously Kazumasa Sato, and they're doing what? They're basically the big ups that are part of this, right? So I zoomed in on this, and I like the idea that they announced, I should say, this significant milestone, and how, more importantly, you see that the team, this means obviously, Kunitake Ando, Kazumasa Sato, and so on have been recognizing that information security is paramount in today's rapidly evolving digital landscape. So this proves to me that the big ups from Jasmy are also the same big ups over at Bjit. You don't have to convince them about ISO. They already get it. It doesn't matter if Hara doesn't get it, and that's no knock on Hara, but the big ups get it. Awesome. Maybe this is why it was crickets when I put all the ambassadors, Hara, and the management team, and tagged them all, and I didn't get one single reply. Maybe they're like, this guy, I don't know about him. I don't know. Maybe they don't even care. Maybe they don't even know who I am. That's fine too. But when things get quiet, it makes me recognize the bigger picture. Are you guys recognizing the bigger picture? Look at this. So they achieved this. It did signify the company's ability to meet and exceed stakeholder expectations. Clients can trust that their data, you read that, will be secure and safeguarded. Now, that should be your aha moment, even though we just got into this whole thing, right? Why is that? Because Bjit referencing data and Jasmy's upper management, the executives, Kunitake Ando, Kazumasa Sato are part of this. So is that an unofficial direct confirmation, to a sense, about the whole thing? Could very well be. Is it just a matter of time now, guys, that we see Jasmy become an ISO standard, right? I think it's a huge deal. I want to get a little bit more into this. So you see that Bjit's got this whole thing of like efficient process. You see how they want to demonstrate its dedication to ethical standards. Again, back to that. This even, obviously has the whole thing of Junction. And look what Jenkinson's trying to do. AI ethical standards, right? Don't you see how it all comes together? So they talk more about this accomplishment. They talk about this excellence to continue to drive the company's success. But more importantly, it's this milestone, guys, right? Innovation, collaboration, continuous improvement with ISO 27001:2022 certification. Bjit is better equipped to navigate complexities of digital age and deliver exceptional value to his clients and partners. I'm gonna call it right now. I'm literally gonna call it right now. I don't think it's a matter of if anymore. It is a matter of when. And you want to know something? I am proud that I took the extra deep dives to talk about some of this stuff, because it's not just to sound cool and deliver news, but you want to know something? With all the FUD that keeps happening day in and day out when it comes to Jasmy, guess what? It makes me feel great that I took the liberty with our community to wrap our heads around this stuff and get into the nitty gritty of the bigger picture. All right, more about this. You might think, why? Well, the main key thing is you see the plaques, you see them holding this up, and that's cool, and it's recent, May 4th. I mean, come on, man, a week ago, right? So anybody's welcome to go over to Bjit. You'll see pictures and, Kunitake Ando. Again, guys, been there, done that. I'm not trying to, prove anything to the people that are new to all this. As we get more into this, I'm going to jump over to the next part of what we have. I want to pull this up. This is straight from the ISO site. Let's go ahead and full screen this as well. This is good stuff. You see this whole announcement of ISO IEC. Remember how I was talking about, JTC 1 and talking about Japan? Well, this is a different one. But again, it's that umbrella I was talking about. So would Jasmy follow under the one I was pointing out? And it would have a different standard compared to the one that Bjit's part of? That's a possibility. But again, the point is that umbrella of falling under this. Okay, I think it is going to be JTC 1, and I think it is going to be some of the ones that we talked about the other night and a few times before. But guys, this standard, what does it provide? It provides companies of any size and from all sectors of activity with guidance for establishing, implementing, maintaining, and continually improving information security management system. And most importantly, it means that an organization or business has this whole thing of putting this thing into a system to manage risks related to security of data. That to me is like, oh, okay, yeah, Jasmy literally on the back end of this Goes on to mention that how the system respects all the best practices and principles enshrined in this international standard. But most importantly, why this particular one? Why IEC 2701? Well, with cybercrime on the rise and new threats constantly emerging, it seemed difficult or even impossible to manage cyber risk. This standard helps organizations become risk aware proactively and to identify and address weaknesses. So we talk about, a personal data locker and we talk about security. Well, how would you like to have a standard part of it? Like I've always mentioned, this simply makes sense to me. And you got to love and appreciate that the upper management team, Ando, and especially Sato-san, recognize it. So is there anything more in regards to this? Yes, there is. I want to give you a quick little summary of my notes. And this is kind of like, a quick little update, right? I was going to make it 2 hours long because I talked your heads off about ISO, especially when it comes to Jasmine. So in a nutshell, yes, Bjit is thrilled to announce this. We get it. More than proud about it. Pictures, holding plaques, all this stuff is great. Why is it so significantly, not only for Bjit, but most importantly for Jasmy and especially us in the retail world that hold the particular token? Well, as we know, that this in itself means that Bjit has implemented best practices for security, or information security, I should say, and is committed to valuing data just as much as the upper management of Jasmy, Sato-san, and Kunitake Ando preach all the time when it comes to valuing data. If anything, platinum data with trust, data free flow with trust. While we want to be raw, Jasmy, got to recognize the benefits, of course, for Bjit. So for Bjit, 4 key things we're going to get into why this is important. Increase trust from clients. We talk about the internet of value. We've got to talk about the internet of trust. Bjit can assure clients that their data is specifically secure and meets their expectations or even exceeds stakeholder expectations. Please the stakeholders, the rest will come. Build it, and they will come. Improved efficiency. This adheres to best practices, ensures efficient processes, and on top of that, regulatory compliance. How so? The ISO standard. Bjit demonstrates its dedication to upholding ethical standards. There's your Jasmy Junction connection. Ethical standards. Go back to Junction, go into all the material if you choose to do so. What do they consistently mention? Ethical standards, but most importantly, for AI. Now I see why it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. All right, that's Bjit. What about Jasmy, the moment you've been waiting for? This has potential to boost credibility. Now, let's face it, people want to see more credibility in the retail. But guess what? It's not always that we want to appease retail, but it doesn't hurt anything. So it will potentially boost Jasmy's credibility, but Bjit's achievement could reflect positively, of course, on Jasmy as they share executives, like I pointed out before, between the two. Jasmy, Bjit, even Sony. It's a major breakthrough, right? And especially when it comes to the investors. This also, number 2 point I want to get into, will create a stronger partnership. Improved information security at Bjit could benefit a collaboration, of course, with Jasmy. It's already there. And the final piece to the puzzle, did we forget about this guy? I don't think we did. This is the one and only Mr. Who. Yeah, you guys sometimes get tired of me talking about this guy. Shout out to, Din Yu. I'm sure many times he heard me talk about Mr. Genki Oda. But most importantly is recognizing this. Shout out to Neo X Tricks. Love Neo, man. This guy is a great guy. I mean, I freaking love this guy. I just really do. Awesome guy. Very passionate about covering Jasmy all the time. But look what he says. And how long ago did, Mr. Neo X Tricks post this? He also posted this on May 1st. So he states Genki Oda, CEO of Bitpoint, sees immense potential in blockchain tech and principles of Web3 to transform Japanese society. He believes that Jasmine, with its innovative solutions, is well positioned to lead this evolution in Japan. There he is. And this guy is always going to be Jasmine's main plug, main connect. Why is that? Because he's not part of just one sector, guys. He's part of the bigger picture, and he always has been. His plug with Bitpoint, his plug to Bjit is huge for Jasmy, because while the United States doesn't get an ally like this guy, the Japan does. The FSA, the JVCEA. Literally, this guy is the opposite of what Gary Gensler is. And it's in Japan. And this guy helped recognize that Jasmine's the first to be regulatory compliant in Japan. Let's look at this from the one and only NeoX Tricks for a second. You will see also here the references. And most importantly, and we're not going to do it tonight, I think it's kind of interesting how you see the birds and the colors. Notice that even Swift blockchain, right? SWFT, not Swift as in the society, right? The traditional one, but they have a similar thing. You know, we talk about VCs. That's a story for another day. Shout out to Rue Black. But you guys want to talk about lockup and all this stuff. So other guys talked about it, seen 2-Bit talk about it. A lot of people covered it, right? Some people may feel I'm late to the show. Hey, guess what? I'll cover what I want to cover, and I'll get into some of the nitty gritty too, right? I don't mean that in a bad way. So 100 million Jasmine locked up May 1st. And again, look at this, Jasmine 100 million coin lockup start, and that's just scratching the surface. SoftPoint, like for example, was part of SBI, and basically, like it says, took off on its own. You know, SoftBank is a 20% shareholder, right? SoftBank, the connection is obviously to some of these other things, Bitpoint, Bjit, all this stuff that we talk about. Understanding, again, guys, the bigger picture. A little bit more from Jasmy management about this. Other people have talked about it, but it's always nice to see it. This is, again, just scratching the surface. So my thing is this, okay, is recognizing the bigger picture. Now you finally have an idea where we're going with this, okay? You may feel as though that this ISO standard doesn't create utility in motion tomorrow. You'd be right, because we're not even there yet. But you like the idea that standards literally equal to things in which if you create the standard, that means people use that because it is just that, a standard. Web3 standards, going from Web 2 to Web 3, yeah. We'll continuously cover this. We'll get more into it. But again, I'm just calling it. It's just a matter of time. You literally see the writing on the wall. Some of you guys ask what cold storage solution I use. I use this, and it is the Decent wallet. All right. I also, of course, have a ledger like this. All right. You can get a discount basically from going into the affiliate link, which is in all the live video descriptions and recorded and so on. And for the yahoos that are out there, they're like, this is just a shield. And, you know, we'll fix point this out. And it's a great point. Were you aware that you don't necessarily get a discount link just going straight to the site? No, you actually have to go through a platform like this. So how cool is that? You know, I don't think anybody's complaining about that. But anyway, use the link, get a discount. There's another one here. If you're the type of person you want to get one for you and your, you know, significant other, you can get 2 of them. They actually have another promotion, which is this, and I think this is cool. You can get an all-in-one card wallet plus backup card package. Interesting. I thought that was cool. And again, one of the main key things I like about the Decent wallet is not having to do the red tape of, you know, jumping through all the hoops for XDC and the custom folder. I mean, Edward Vincent can vouch on that. Some of you guys can too as well in regards to Ledger. That was a pain in the butt. You don't have that problem. You literally open up your phone, it's on your app, track everything that's going on, right? And, you know, saying goes, not your keys, not your crypto. You know the drill. Check it all out, though, if you wish to do so. It is truly the cold storage solution that I use for the most part. There's still some on Ledger that, you know, I kind of split it up on it and so on. So it is what it is. But if I have preference over one, I'm going with this one. A lot easier to use and so on. And some people, even to this day, still ask me which one to use.